Has 2017 finally gone now? Happy New Year! Welcome to 2018, where we can thankfully forever close the door on 2017 and move on with our bookish lives. Or maybe not quite. I generally try to be positive about my reading and positive about books and promote authors and stuff, but sometimes you just cannot escape the trash fire and you have to talk about it. But you may also have noticed that I didn't really talk about much when it came to negative book reviews in 2017, and there's a reason for that. I was put off, scared away from, terrified about posting any kind of negative reviews because I had my first truly awful author experience. I didn't talk about it at the time because I just wanted to hide under a rock and make it go away. But enough time has elapsed that I feel like it's only fair that I tell you guys why I wasn't being honest about all of my reading in 2017 and explain why this is the first true rant you'll have seen in quite a while. So like many other YouTubers, I review some books via NetGalley, which is an online service that publishers can use to submit early manuscripts to readers to get the buzz going prior to the publication in physical form and purchasable ebook form of a novel. And as I love non-fiction with a true crime bent, when I spotted this title on NetGalley, I was like, I have to have that. The tagline for The Polygamous Daughter by Anna LeBaron was, "My father had more than 50 children." And the blurb went on to describe how Anna LeBaron's father hid from the FBI whilst practicing his polyamorous Mormon beliefs and warping them into a cult which spread across the lower United States and into Mexico. Anna and her siblings were abused, were forced to work for their keep essentially, and were kept away from any kind of adequate schooling. And the whole thing just sounded terribly, terribly up my street. But unfortunately when I read it, I didn't entirely get on with the novel. If we're looking at star ratings, I gave it a 3 out of 5, which is absolutely not the worst rating I have ever given a book, and I would like you to keep that in mind as I carry on with this story. My review here on Goodreads, which I will link in the description below so that you guys can check it out at your leisure, was pretty fair as far as I am concerned. I had an issue with a couple of things in the book. The first thing was that the memoir is really unbalanced, so about 30% of the book is Anna as an adult and her life now and reconnecting with her siblings, and the rest of the book is her as a child being shuttled around between families and not really understanding what is going on. Unfortunately, the author didn't use that really wonderful vehicle that memoirs have of being able to look back as an adult on childhood experiences, and instead just explained the childhood experiences pretty much word for word, punch for punch for what went on. My other issue was the tone of the book. It was just kind of overly simplistic, very ABC, paint by numbers language, but it was a page turner, it went by really fast, it was really easily digestible, it was super readable. I don't think that a 3-star review is a bad review. Unfortunately, then what happened within literal minutes of me posting my video on YouTube, the dislikes started to appear. Now, I'm a fairly small booktube channel and I don't get a lot of dislikes on my videos, and that's not because people don't like my content, I'm sure. I think what happens is I just don't have enough subscribers for people to actually bother clicking the down button. If they don't like it, they just click off and go watch other content, which is great, you know, works for them, works for me. But suddenly the dislikes on my YouTube video just went through the roof, and I was like, I don't understand what's happening here. And then all of a sudden, lots of comments started appearing on this video saying that I didn't know what I was talking about. Some were very defensive, some were rude and threatening, and those comments have been removed. They are not on the video anymore. Other ones I did respond to that were more sort of trying to get me to come round to their point of view, but it was basically a lot of, I think you've read the book incorrectly, you're not getting what you should get from this book. To which I was kind of like, that's just my opinion. It's totally okay if you like the book, you do you. But then the dislikes started to get progressively more dislikey, and finally Anna LeBaron herself commented on my review. I have removed the comment for both Anna's sake and my own sake, because while it was not outwardly rude, it was also not very kind. And essentially what it said was, thanks very much, I take on all opinions about my book, but I think you're wrong and I don't think it's fair that you've said this. And also, and by the way, all of my other reviews have been 5-star reviews. And that was the thing which just made me go, ding ding ding, alarm bells. And I immediately contacted Anna's publisher through NetGalley, and I was like, hey, just so you know, this situation has happened. I don't really think it's great for Anna. I don't think it's great for me. I would just like it to stop happening. And the publisher then got back to me, were super, super nice, got in touch with Anna, explained that she was a first-time author, she was a bit inexperienced about the publishing process, and that they had, had a word with her and hopefully things would go away. Things didn't go away. Things just got worse. And through a bit of creative Googling and the Google foo skills of people much better than me, I discovered that the link to my post on YouTube and also to my Goodreads written review had both been shared in private Facebook groups. Presumably with Anna's supporters and friends. And after doing some Googling on some of the people who were leaving comments, I discovered that some of them were actually related to Anna and were siblings with, married surnames and things like that. And Facebook told me that because that's the devil that Facebook is. And at this point, I just kind of wanted to cry and just go and curl up in a little ball somewhere, because I don't think 3 stars is a negative review, and this was clearly the overreaction of somebody who cared very deeply about her book. And I also didn't want to upset people, because I don't want to post a review on the internet that makes you feel bad about your art. But at the same time, I'm entitled to interpret your art in any way that I deem fit, and if it didn't work for me, that's okay, it didn't work for me. If you do have loads of other 5-star reviews, clearly it's working for someone. But the situation continued through the night and into the next day, when I finally, in genuine floods of tears by this point, contacted the publisher again and was like, look, this is getting kind of stupid. I don't want to take down my post, but I will if that's the only thing that's going to make this go away. And the publisher got in touch with me again and said Anna and her friends had been reminded again, could they please stop this? It's becoming very serious now. Long story short, abruptly, the dislikes started turning into likes, and the numbers reversed themselves. And throughout this whole, next couple of days after it, I watched, and a few people that I had been keeping abreast of this situation and who were keeping me mentally afloat during this were kind of like, okay, so clearly the people who disliked the video are now liking the video because Anna has said, guys, we did a bad thing. I am perfectly willing to give Anna the benefit of the doubt, and I do not at all mean for this video to end up causing more harm and more controversy, but I do feel that it's my right to talk about this, because it did kind of just get swept under the carpet, and it really did affect me. It really, really impacted me. It changed my confidence in a way that I just didn't have the gumption to post another negative review in case another author who is maybe more popular set their rabid troops on me. And we know it's happened before. It has happened before in the booktube community, and I'm not going to talk about anybody's experience that isn't mine. Mine was small potatoes compared to some of the things that have happened to other content creators. But that is the reason why I kind of faded a little bit into obscurity last year as well, because I felt like after that hit on my confidence, it just went down and down and down and downhill until the point where I felt like I couldn't post. I felt like I was paralysed. It really deeply affected me. So that is the reason why there were almost no reviews, and certainly no negative reviews from me later on in 2017, and one of the things that contributed to my initial mental health crisis. And I know that there's going to be people who are going to be like, do you know what, dude, it's the internet and everybody has opinions and everybody's allowed to say what they are, and you need to get a thicker skin and you need to not worry about these things as much. And I know all of this. I logically know all of this. Doesn't make it any better when things are actually happening or when they're happening for the first time. And certainly not when you don't feel like you can reach out to the wider community for support, because you don't want to make this a huge trash fire and have everybody descend into the comments section. Because I am positive in our wonderful community that if I had made this a big thing, reached out, got some attention, that people would have started wars in the comment section out of all good intentions, and I didn't want that either. So I feel that was cathartic. I feel like I've got it off my back, and I'm now gonna, for better or worse, talk about the other books that really didn't work for me in 2017, because I'm allowed to do that. And I hope that you guys take it in the spirit in which it is intended, and that it didn't work for me. That doesn't mean I want to burn the book and ban it from all libraries and bookshops. You do you.